Hello everyone, this is Mr. C of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy, and welcome to Music Theory Lesson number 7, Rhythms, Part 5. Okay, so here we go. Composing another 4-measure example. We're going back to our 4/4 meter. Okay, so when you get out your manuscript books, okay, your manuscript paper, okay, make sure you have that and a good pencil with a good eraser. Okay, make sure you have that ready with you. You guys are going to draw up your bar lines, okay, and create 1, 2, 3, 4 measures. Make sure you have a double bar line to let us know that we're at the end of the example. And then you're going to write in your meter, your time signature, which is 4/4. Again, 4/4 meter tells us that this is 4 beats per measure, and the quarter note gets 1 beat. Okay. Now there's a couple of other rests. Okay, we're going to work with a couple of other rests to add into our music, our rhythm composition, I should say. Okay, which is also very musical. Okay, it's a music composition, even if it is just rhythm. Okay, but take a look over here. So I have the 2 examples over here. Okay, we have one rest, which is now it's kind of like the upside down version of the half rest. Okay, and notice that I have an equal sign to number 4, which is 4 beats, which means, what is the name of this particular rest? This is the whole rest. Okay, so we have our whole rest. Okay, now our whole rest is simply the way I drew it here. You have it's like an upside down top hat. Whereas with the half rest earlier, we had a line, okay, which is usually the 3rd line of the staff, right? So when we do our half rest, we imagine, if we have like a blank sheet of paper and we're doing it this way, okay, we imagine that we have our 3rd line of the staff already here. So you would draw that, and then a rectangle right on top of it, so that looked like a right side up hat. Of course, you would shade it in, okay, and that is our half rest, which is equal to 2 beats. Okay, however, this is our whole rest. Now our whole rest, it's like the top hat is upside down. Here's the brim, here's the hat part. Okay, so the rectangle now is drawn underneath, and not only underneath this line, but not only that, not any line. It's going to be underneath the second to top line, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4th line up. Okay, so we're going to have that rectangle drawn underneath, again, the 4th line up. All right, and that will tell us that that's a half rest. That's how you'll be able to tell the difference between the half rest, not just because the hat part is upside down as opposed to the half rest, but the whole rest will be hanging, the rectangle will be hanging underneath the 4th line up, as opposed to the half rest having the rectangle on top of the 3rd line. Okay, so we're going to add in our whole rest, which is going to equal to 4 beats of silence. A whole note is just a circle, right? That's our note head, an empty note head, an empty circle. Well, it has the same name, whole note, whole rest. The whole note is 4 beats of sound, one hold, 2 hold, 3 hold, 4, as opposed to the whole rest is going to be 4 beats of silence, which will of course take up the entire measure. If any measure that we use it for, it's going to be just the whole rest all by itself. Why? Because there are 4 beats in every measure according to our meter. Okay, so you're not going to need to add in any other rests, any other notes. The whole rest, one whole rest, could take up an entire measure, and that is just fine there. Okay, but then after that, we have here, take a look, this is our 8th rest. Okay, now think of another note, a note that we actually have the same name, 8th. That would be our 8th note, which looks like this, right? Shaded in note head. Okay, we have the shaded in note head right there. Then we add the stem, and then our little flag. Okay, and our little flag, that would be our 8th note. Okay, which is also worth half a beat. Okay, it's worth half of a beat, but our 8th rest is half a beat also. So what's the difference between a rest and a note? Our 8th note is half a beat of sound, as opposed to our 8th rest is half a beat of silence. Okay, so we're going to add these 2 different rests to our original rhythm composition. Okay, and then of course after this video, you guys are going to be expected to do your own. Okay, that'll be your assignment, to create a 4-measure to create 4-measure rhythm examples using our whole rest and our eighth rest. Okay, so here we go. Let's get it going, right? And it'll be, of course, a combination of all the other notes and rests that we've learned. Okay, so let's start with our first measure. Okay, no, I am not. Don't even try it. I am not going to start off with our whole rest. Okay, that's just too easy. Okay, let's start. Let's get into actually using our eighth rest with this in combination with some of the other notes and rests there. Okay, so let's do this. By the way, when we write our eighth rest, notice that it kind of looks like it resembles kind of like a 7. Okay, except the top part, instead of it being straight, it's curved. Okay, kind of like a smile. Okay, and then the other line from there on that corner of that smile angled down. So when we do it, okay, we're actually going to do this. Okay, we're going to start over here. I want you to take your pencils right now. You're going to write or draw or write, which is more appropriate. You're going to write your curved smile right over here underneath the 4th line. It's going to go like this. Okay, you got that, right? You stop right there underneath, and then after that, take your pencil and curve it down up to the 2nd line on the 2nd to bottom line, and you're gonna stop right there. That is 1/8 rest. Okay, half a beat of silence. Okay, so it's just silence. Okay, almost like a quick silence, but really just a smaller amount of silence. We're gonna add in our 8th note next to this. So watch this. Make sure you whatever notes you write. For rhythm purposes, you're going to do it in the bottom space. Okay, so your note head is going to go here. Okay, you're going to color in your note head, then you're going to get your stem right at the top line, bring it down. I would suggest don't make the note head too small or else that'll look uneven. Really, it'll look weird. Okay, so more like that, and then you're going to add in your flag. It's kind of like a little curve. You know, wabam, just bam. Okay, okay. For lack of a better syllable. Okay, you're just going to just curve it like that very quickly, and there's your 8th note. 8th rest, 8th note. Okay. Imagine that you actually, instead of having an 8th rest, imagine you have an 8th note in front of that. Okay. So if you have 2 8th notes together, what did we say that would do? We usually would take the flags and tie them together, put them across the top of the stems, right? Like this. Just real quickly, I'll just kind of do it real quick over here. We'll have, okay, we usually would have something like this, right? Okay, where their flags are tied together across the top, and then you would just count them as 1 A, right? 1 and, okay? So this is the same thing. That's kind of what I'm pointing out right now, guys. This is really the same as this. Okay? What's the difference? Again, you have an 8th rest, which is half a beat of silence, but an 8th note, half a beat of sound. Okay? So you really have there's no tie. There's no tie at the top of, because this is not a regular note. It's a rest. So your 8th rest is going to be the first of the beat, while your 8th note is going to be the and of. It's going to be the and of that beat, okay? So it's like 1 and. Check what I just did. I silenced for half a beat, that 1, and then I clapped on the and of the first beat, which both of these together makes, right? If 2 8th notes make 1 full beat, that means an 8th rest with an 8th note is also going to be 1 full beat. So it's going to be like silence on the 1, but on the and of 1, you're going to hit. You're going to clap, okay? So it's going to be 1 and, 1 and. You see that? 1 and. That's how that's going to go. So when you're clapping this later on, 1 and, okay? What happens is we're creating, check this concept out, we're creating something, okay, called syncopation. Everybody say that, syncopation. Syncopation is when there's an emphasis, there's a hit, okay, like a oomph on the offbeats. The and is really what's referred to as the offbeat of the 1, or the offbeat of the primary count. The offbeat of that primary count. That's what we're creating there. So the and is being hit, and not the one, it's one and. So we're creating some emphasis, some strength on the and of the first beat. That is what's called syncopation, guys, okay? All right, so here we go. Let's have our one little taste of syncopation there, and then let's add a quarter note. Let's add a quarter note. Remember what our meter says? The bottom number 4 tells us that the quarter note is equal to 1 full beat, right? So we have our quarter note. Add the stem, okay, and that's beat number 2. Okay, so 1 and 2. Check it out. So I just did 1, rest on the 1, 1 and 2. And that's that beat number 2 is the full beat because you have a quarter note, okay? All right? Then after that, so we have our first 2 beats there. Our first 2 full beats. We need 2 more to complete the 4 beats in that measure. Let's add a half note. Right? Why not? Okay? Empty note head. I don't like the way I did that note head. My goodness. Mr. C, what are you doing? I don't like that note head. Okay? Not my best. Okay, so here we go. There, that's a little better. Okay? But remember, we're not in it for the artistic, okay? I just want to make sure I give you the right best example, okay? So we have our half note, which is worth what? 2 beats again to complete the measure, okay? So we have beat number 3, hold over to 4, okay? So that's 3, hold 4. So all together you would clap that, okay? Resting on the first beat, 1 and 2, 3, hold 4. Let me show you that again. So rest on the primary beat of 1, right? 1 and 2, 3, hold 4, and we're holding over to 4 because of the 2 beats of the half note, okay? All right, guys, here we go. All right, now I think we'll utilize our whole rest. Remember, our whole rest is 4 beats of silence, okay? So we're gonna, remember what I said, we don't have to draw the line, okay? Because why? The line is already provided for us, which is the 4th line, 1, 2, 3, 4th line up, you're gonna go up to with your pencil, and underneath that, in the middle of the measure, in the very middle of the measure, all you have to do is draw a rectangle like so, okay? But don't leave it empty, you want to shade that in, okay? Just like that, just shade in that rectangle, which, you know, if you were to sort of, okay, remember I used the analogy of this being like an upside down top hat, okay? Think about it, if we were to cut these off, okay, there's the line like this, and now it resembles the upside down top hat, okay? But that's, again, it resembles that when we don't have, we're not working with staff lines, okay? But when we are working with staff lines, we're going to utilize the 4th line going up, okay? And then just write in the rectangle with the shaded in rectangle, okay? So right there, 4 beats of silence. Let's count it in. Let's put the counts underneath. We got 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4. Okay? And that's all that's needed. You only need the whole rest there by itself. Just like a whole note a whole note is 4 beats of sound held, right? This is 4 beats of silence held, okay? And you would just keep your hands separate. 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4. And that's it, okay? Now let's get into our 3rd measure, okay? And hey, why not? Let's put our cousins together. So we have our whole rest. Let's add in our whole note. Okay? Let's add in our whole note, okay? And that's the only thing you're gonna need there. And it's 1 with the counts, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4. Okay? There's our 4th measure. So this one you don't clap, you keep them separate, hold 4 beats of silence. This one you do clap on beat 1, 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, and done for that measure. Okay? Now let's add in our dotted half note. Let's go with the dotted half note in the last measure. Okay? That's 3 beats of sound, of course. All right? Make sure you add that dot, half note with a dot. And then you add the count. 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4. Okay? But now what I'd like to do is utilize our eighth rest and our eighth note again, okay, but slightly different. Instead of making the eighth rest first on, oh, I'm sorry, what did I just do? Look, can you point out the mistake I just made? I just said that the dotted half note, okay, is 3 beats of sound. What did I do over here? I put a -4 as if we're going to hold it for 4 beats. Okay? Okay, be careful if you make that mistake by accident. Look, even I can make that even I can make that quick mistake, but that's okay. It's easily fixable because if you have a pencil with a good eraser, all you got to do is this. That is it. Okay? Easy peasy. Now, you cannot imagine, guys, how many times I've done that just in my own compositions and all, in my own, and the things that I've written. Okay, so here, let me just check something out over here. Make sure my tech is doing all right. Okay, great. So now we're down to the last measure. Our dotted half note is there. 3 beats. We still need 1 more beat, and like I said before, I like to utilize our 8th rest and our 8th note, but I'd like to flip-flop it this time. So instead of having the 8th rest first, we're going to have the 8th note first. Okay, for beat 4. Remember, it's just half a beat. Okay, so we have our note head colored in, stem, flag, and then we still need what? This is beat number 4, but we need the and of 4. We also need the and of 4 there. So we gotta write in again our curvy looking 7, okay, which is our 8th rest. Underneath the 4th line, curve a nice little smile, just like that, and then from the right side of that smile, that corner of the smile, angle it down towards the left, and there you have your 8th rest, your 4 and. So when we clap this, watch, it's going to clap 1, hold 2, hold 3, then you're hitting on beat 4. 4 and. So it's 4, quick 4, half a beat, and, which is silenced right here. The and of 4 is going to be silenced. 1, hold 2, hold 3, 4 and then you're done. Make sure, guys, you recognize that 8th rest, that you're silencing the half of the end half of beat number 4 right there, because you're not done until you recognize the and of 4, that silence, 4 and then you're done. Okay, you can't just say 4 and then you're done, because then you're confusing that with a quarter note. Okay, that's the idea. You must recognize the and of 4. That's the idea. So let's go measure by measure. That is it. You guys can put your pencils down. We have composed our 4 measure example. Okay, you will do some on your own also. Okay, during the course of the week I will be checking them. Okay, now let's go right here, measure by measure. We're going to clap out our rhythms here. Okay, so from here, okay, watch me first. This is the first measure. I'll count you in at 1, 2, ready, you clap, silence, 1 and 2, 3, hold 4. Let me show you that again. Again, it goes 1 and 2, 3, hold 4. Okay, let's try it together one time with me. Here we go. 1, 2, hands ready. Here we go, and rest, and 2, 3, hold 4. Okay, that's how that goes. We go right to the second measure. Easy peasy, 4 beats of silence because of the whole rest. Okay, remember again, the rectangle's underneath the top, the 4th line, counting up to the 4th line. It's right underneath there. That's where it belongs. Okay, and you're just gonna 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4. Do it once with me. Ready? And set and go. And 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4. Okay, now we do the same thing, except we're clapping on beat 1 because it's a whole note, not a whole rest in the 3rd measure. On my count, guys, we know this one. Let's do it together. And 1, 2, ready, let's go. And 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, and done. Okay, now we get to the last measure. Okay, in our last measure, it's going to go, it's going to be a dotted half note. Hold, clap once, hold for 3 counts, clap on B4, but then silence on the and of 4 because of the 8th rest. Okay, so all together it goes 1, hold 2, hold 3, 4 and. Okay, try it with me one time. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, Wait, let me check again. I'm just checking over here. All right, just make sure everything keeps running. I gotta do that once in a while. Here we go. On my count again. 1, 2, ready. Let's go and hit 1, hold 2, hold 3, 4, and. Okay, 4 and. That's what we want there. Okay. So now we gotta clap the whole thing, guys. We gotta go from the beginning all the way to the end. Okay, a song is not a song until you do the whole thing, right? Okay, so here we go. Hands ready. On my count, remember to rest on the first part of the beat of the 8th rest and hit on the end of 1 with your 8th note. Okay, here we go. On my count, and 1, 2, ready, 8th rest, and 1 and 2, 3, hold 4, rest, 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, whole note, 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, dotted half, 1, hold 2, hold 3, 8th note, 4 and. Again, it's 4 and. All right. One more time, guys. Let's do it one more time in case you didn't get it. And if you still don't get it after this, guys, hey, guess what? As long as you're on this platform, you have this video going, you can repeat this video and clap along with me until you get this, okay? So you can use this as practice time, guys, okay? Here we go. Take it from the top one more time. 8th rest, and on my count. Hands ready, and 1, 2, ready, 8th rest, and 1 and 2, 3, hold 4, whole note, whole rest, 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, whole note, 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, half, dotted half, 1, hold 2, hold 3, 4, and. Everybody got it? Give me a thumbs up if you got it, okay? If you don't, that's okay. Like I said, play this video a couple more times and clap along. Continue to clap along with me until you get it, okay? That's what rehearsal is all about, guys, okay? And then, of course, your assignment, again, will be to create some 4-measure examples using the new rests that I showed you. Your whole rest, which is 4 beats of silence, and your 8th rest, which is half a beat of silence, okay? Pretty much in conjunction with your 8th notes, okay? But guess what, guys? There's no rule against also putting 2 8th rests together. You can have a whole beat of silence using 2 8th rests, okay? Or interchange that with a quarter rest. Remember the quarter rest? That squiggly line, okay? Which is 1 beat of silence. It's like a quarter note, okay? But it's a quarter rest. It's 1 beat of silence as opposed to 1 beat of sound, okay? So that's the idea with that. But you can use all those different combinations. This is just one example, okay? And again, as long as you stay within the parameters of the meter, the time signature, which says that you have to have only 4 beats in every measure, okay? And counting the quarter note as equaling 1 beat, okay? All right. I think that is it, guys. That is your assignment, okay? This is your rhythm class, okay? And I just wanna there was something I was going to say, and right now it is escaping me, guys. Oh yes, this is what I was going to say. Notice how we do clap our entire example, right? We clap the measures, okay? I would like to give you a little bit of advice, guys, when you're writing your rhythms, okay? Sometimes I see them, with mistakes where they're not fully done, where you're missing a certain amount of beats, okay? You might be missing a certain amount of beats there, certain notes, or whatever the case, even rest. That might be an issue, okay? If you're not sure while you're writing it out, before you present it to me, right? Okay? And I don't mind, guys, don't get me wrong. I do not mind looking at it and making correction, showing you the corrections and showing you what you need to do. I don't mind that, okay? What I want you to do is if you just want to improve, make sure you're improving on your composing skills, okay, and staying within the parameters of the meter. Notice how we clap everything before we continue each measure, right? Do that when you're composing your own rhythm examples, okay? If you're not sure about a particular set of notes that you use, combination of notes and rests that you use within a measure, if you're not entirely sure, clap it out. Clap it out. Make sure you are able to count from 1 to 4 in every measure. If you can't do that, guess what? Something's wrong. That's what you can think of right to yourself right there. Something must be wrong. There's something I'm missing or something I'm not doing right. That's what you can think to yourself as soon as you write it, okay? So basically, guys, you can also check yourselves, okay? You can check yourselves on how well you're composing your rhythms, okay? We kind of always have to, right? If we're writing music, yeah, we definitely have to make sure we're on the right track. So clapping it out will help with that, okay? All right, friends, thank you very much. As always, I wish you happy practicing, and everyone take care. I'll see you in the next class. Everyone, bye-bye.